Okay, YouTube, we are back with a discussion video on the new Yu-Gi-Oh! September 2012 Forbidden and Limited lists. And we'll be joined here by my brother.
Hello.
And we're going to be talking about the lists and our opinions on what Konami has done and whether we like them or not. So, quick sip of tea there. And we are off. We are starting with the banned cards. The first casualty is Bryanak, Dragon of the Ice Barrier. What are your initial thoughts on this?
Well, you couldn't see me there, but I had my head in my hands.
Picard facepalm.
Yeah. Basically, why?
Well, you know, it still is a consistent winner of games, isn't it?
It was a more consistent winner of games 12 months ago.
True.
Why was nothing done then if they wanted to kill it? Why now?
Yeah, I do think there's a whole issue of timing with this ban. I think, when it was, back when it was at the top of its game for like when what was it, Diva Zombies, that made really good use out of Bryanak.
Yeah.
And then the whole thing, when it.
Well, I used to run zombies, and I'm now switching to Dragoonities, but it does make me sad to see Bryanak going because it's really one of the last great synchro monsters.
Yeah.
It gave synchros a chance.
Yeah.
And now I think they really are trying to force us over to Excesis a bit too much. I don't think they're banning it because it's a problem card. I don't believe it is a problem card. Certainly not like Trishula was 6 months ago. But it's purely because they want Excesis to be run over synchros. And I don't think that's right.
You will notice throughout the list there will be some hope for the synchros yet, and we'll talk about that when we get round to it. So the second casualty of the list is Future Fusion. I think Future Fusion had to go. There was just, you had it with Chaos Dragons. You just drop that first turn, and basically it's an instant countdown to destruction because they've got everything loaded that they want into the graveyard, and it just completely it's just game over from there.
I think people were sort of comparing it to Painful Choice, which has been banned since the dawn of time. For good reason.
Yeah, for as long as I can remember, Painful Choice has been banned, and now Future Fusion's got to that point where
it's basically got like that. It's gotten to ridiculous levels.
Yeah.
You play it and you win.
Yeah, it deserves to go, really, and that's all we can say about it. So those are the only banned cards, Bryanak and Future Fusion, and we'll now be moving on to the limited list. And the first limited card, going down from 3, is Chaos Sorcerer. Now, you have some views on the Chaos Dragons and the Chaos any deck that uses the Chaos strategy. What are your overall thoughts on this particular limitation?
I think this is quite a hard one to call. I mean, I don't want to spoil for later in the list just yet, but I think with what they've done, they didn't really need to hit Chaos Sorcerer as much as they did. Maybe down to 2 would have been okay. I don't know. It's one of those sort of okay decisions, but maybe a little too harsh.
All in all, Chaos Sorcerer is a good card, and it will be missed seeing played at that many, but people have adapted. I mean, it just takes it back to when Chaos Sorcerer was first introduced into the game after so long being banned, so hopefully we'll go back to simpler times with this list, let's hope so. But knowing the ever-changing game that is Yu-Gi-Oh, that may not be possible. Anyway, next limitation, again from 3, is Insector Dragonfly.
Well, I think to talk about this, we really need to talk about the next card on the list as well.
Okay.
Which is?
So, Insector Hornet.
Yeah.
So these are the 2 Insector limitations that they've... specific Insector limitations that they've received. What are your views?
The cuts are too deep.
Too deep, you say?
Yeah. I mean, the reason why the deck was so good was because 3 Dragonflies and 3 Centipedes meant you could just sustain wave after wave of destruction.
Yeah.
The Hornet wasn't really ever the problem. You only need 1 Hornet in the graveyard to...
Yeah, that is understandable.
To get it going. The problem was the Dragonfly, and I think limiting Dragonfly would have been enough to cap the power of the deck, but still give it the potential
to remain
to
competitive.
be competitive and to be a bit destructive.
Yeah, I completely agree with
but
you there.
with Hornet gone to 1 as
It's
well,
just
I
basically
think
crippled the deck.
yeah,
really.
I think it's Insectors are going to be completely killed off by this.
I don't see them in the competitive game much after this list.
Yeah.
Who knows? Someone may come along and make a variant on the deck that will be some way competitive and playable.
They should have put Dragonfly to 1 and left Hornet. Exactly how it was.
Yeah, I think that's the best way they should have gone about it. Anyway, moving on to the next hit on like dragon decks in general. Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon is now down to 1.
Probably a good way to cap the power of the deck, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you could just ridiculously loop Darkness Metal Dragon's effect with Light Pulsar. And speaking of Light Pulsar, it hasn't had any limitations put on it at all. Do you think that was a wise decision?
Well, to be honest, with Red Eyes going to 1, I don't really see much of a problem with that.
No, it's understandable, yeah. You can't loop Darkness Metal Dragon as much as you could now. Overall, that's a good decision. It still gives the Chaos Dragons deck some form of a fight.
And of course, Chaos Dragons weren't the only deck who were abusing this card. Hieratics were as well.
So, yeah, you could get mega abuse out of this. I've never actually seen Hieratics play in action because I've been out of the competitive game for quite a while. But I do know that you could...
It's horrible.
It is horrible.
It's horrible.
Okay. Anyway, moving on to the next is actually a salvation from the ban list. Spore has come back up to 1. And I'm just going to say right out the bat that I like this decision.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, okay. Bring Spore back to 1. It's not going to change anything.
It's not going to make much of a difference, though. It's a good decision. It's a good call, but it's not really going to change anything.
Yeah.
I mean, most synchro decks are almost dead and buried now. It's going to be hard to have, and especially plant decks. They've had a lot of limitations put on them over the past few lists. And, the loss of Trishula and the limitation of Formula Synchron and the banning of Gloat Bulb. And the deck has lost a lot of firepower, so it's going to be difficult to see them retain that and take it into the next format.
But it may give them a little bit.
It may give them a bit of a fighting chance, but they're not good. It's not going to be the same, I don't think. They've still got Dandelion, but again, it's not going to be the same. Anyway, salvaged from the archives of Yu-Gi-Oh! Lore.
Yes,
The next card, the legend that is Tsukiyomi. I remember playing with this card when it was still in play before it was banned for God knows how many years, but it's back up to 1 now, and welcome back, I guess.
Yeah, it's one of these cards that I think we've all been calling for this to come back for quite some time now, because to be honest, when you read it, it's not really that overpowered an effect anymore, I don't think.
No, it's controlled. I mean, we've got other cards that can do what this card does now, and even better, like Maelstrom and Book of Moon.
Yeah, but this is still a good card. I think people will still run it, but I question how it could be. I think a lot of the
in a format with so much speed,
I think a lot of the big decks at the moment will struggle to fit this guy in.
Yeah, and also the deck what most people want to do with the normal summons is to get a plus off it, like Tour Guide's effect or Rescue Rabbit's effect. This doesn't really offer much of that, so it might be a bit difficult for decks adapting this into to use it properly.
Probably better for the slower.
Yeah, I mean, slower, more control-based deck. This will really shine, but only time will tell, really. And Konami, if you are listening to this video, bring Magician of Faith back next format. We've all been calling for it. Everyone's been calling for it. It's about time. Yeah. Anyway, next to be limited from unlimited is Ivigishki Gust Kraken. Again, I've been out of competitive play for a while, so I don't know the full horrors that this card apparently can dish out.
Well, it's the Gishki support cards. They can very easily summon this card and summon multiple copies of it in one turn. And by tributing Hieratics monsters, they then get more field presence, and then they can exceed into rank 6s and
Yeah.
bring Red Eyes, Darkness, Metal Dragons out from the deck, and then just continue the horrible cycle.
The horror. Yeah.
All the while stripping the opponent of their hand.
Yeah. So good call overall.
And getting to see their hand, while getting information.
That's
as well,
too much
which
of
is
an advantage for one card to give you. So yeah, good call by the looks of it, and just by looking at it, it just looks horrible. Anyway, I think this will be second to last card to be limited. Wind Up Carrier Zen Meaty. Now, I have a really strong opinion on wind ups, and this is one of the ways I think that wind up should have been limited. I think the deck's just too good. I think it's just ridiculously overpowered. It's like almost too perfect, if I could say it in one description.
I think it's probably the closest we've got to a perfect deck, don't you think? Because
it has
the power to strip the opponent of their hand, but it also has the power to swarm.
Yeah.
And it's so flexible as well. You know, you can sort of adapt the strategy in so many different ways depending on the situation. It's not like Insectals or Dynamabbits, which are more like one-trick pony decks. With wind-ups, the options that you have are immense.
And Wind Up Zen Meaty allows for all this.
And Wind Up Zen Meaty is the one that allows the hand loop to go forward and allows the mass swarming as well.
Now, this is the only real wind up hit on the list.
You say that, but it's not really.
But this is the only wind up card that has been put on the list, and I personally think that maybe Hunter should have also been affected. Well, just because I really don't like wind-ups.
No, but once Wind Up Carrier Zen Meaty goes to 1, really Hunter loses a lot of its power. I mean, you can't strip the opponent of their whole hand anymore in one turn with just one Zen Meaty, can you?
Well, we'll have to see how much wind-ups are played in the next format. I don't think it will be played as much because of this loss, but
they still have power. They still have the power to. I think for the deck to succeed, I think they'll have to focus more on easy rank 5 exceeding, which they can do with Sharks and Wind Up Soldier and Cyber Dragon.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But just one more thing about Wind Ups. I think what they should have hit was Wind Up Factory.
Yeah, Wind Up Factory should have also.
It should have gone to 1 because there's a card that's on the limited list already. There's a very similar thing, and it's called Black Whirlwind. Yeah. And Black Whirlwind is nowhere near as overpowered as Wind Up Factory is, and yet it's at 1. So it boggles the mind why Wind Up Factory hasn't been put to 1 as well.
Yeah. Who knows? Another annoying card that I find with Wind Ups is Rabbit as well. I know that probably isn't going to be hit anytime soon, but I personally find that annoying. You can't really do much about it. It's hard to destroy it by battle. It's hard to. The only really thing you can't even negate it with effect value. The only thing you can really do is negate it before it actually hits the field with something like Solemn Warning or Solemn Judgment. Because after it hits the field, it's hard to get rid of it unless the opponent uses it for material or something else, and then it just allows per turn, not even just the opponent's turn, but the player's turn as well, just continually looping with that ridiculous factory effect, which is really stupid in my opinion.
I think that's probably one of the main reasons why I don't think wind-ups are going to die.
Yeah,
I think they've
still got some ridiculous power behind them, but it's capped on the fact that Zen Meaty's now.
Anything that can generate, that has 3 copies of a card that can generate that much advantage.
Yeah.
A deck that can do that is still going to be at least a little competitive.
So yeah, we'll have to see for that for now. And now on to the last limited card in the list, we have Ultimate Offering. I think that's a good call because I've not seen them in action, but there is a gadget deck that makes very good use of this with Excesis and other such, where you can just keep looping the gadgets and Pot of Avarice Xyz again, just overwhelm, mass swarming
Yeah,
at minimal cost.
I think it's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
I don't have much experience playing against that sort of deck, but there have been a few times when the opponent has got the ultimate offering trick working,
Yeah.
and you just can't really do anything about it.
Yeah. So good call overall. We are moving on to the semi-limited cards, and the first card to be semi-limited, brought up from limited, is Blackwing Kalu.
Yes.
I think a lot of people are going to be happy about that because Blackwings have been out of the competitive play for quite a while now, and this gives them an opportunity to come back because Kalu is basically the honest of it is the honest of Blackwings.
It is, yeah.
It's a very similar effect. It gains an attack boost that can easily make even some of the weaker Blackwings a good attacker.
I've been saying this for 12 months, the last 12 months.
Mm.
This is a way to give Blackwings a fighting chance to bring Kalu back up to 2.
Yeah.
Gives them a bit more of a
more of a
cutting edge, a bit more of a sting.
Yeah. People fear cards like Kalu and Honest because it's just that thing you don't really expect.
And really, it's not as powerful as Honest because it's deck specific.
Yeah.
And it gives gains
it
1400 attack,
it gives
which
limited.
Which means that there will be some situations where even dropping Kalu will not be enough to save your monster.
Precisely.
That's never the case with Honest.
Yeah. Yeah, Honest and BLS.
And of course, Honest can bounce itself back to the hand as well.
Just a quick saying about Honest and BLS, sickest combo ever. I had the displeasure of having that move played against me, and it insta-killed me. Really?
Yeah.
It's just completely ridiculous. Anyway,
you thought you were safe with your Stardust Dragon.
Yeah, how wrong I was. Anyway, moving on to the next semi-limited card. It was limited, and now it's back up to 2 Debris Dragon, also helping out the Chaos Plant.
Yeah, I mean, actually, thinking about it, this could, Chaos Plants could make sort of a mini revival, don't you think?
They won't have the same edge that they had. They can't just go into Trishler or even Bryanak now.
They can't.
Well, I think this is gearing more towards the quick draw engine, using stuff like quick draw Synchron and Dandelion combos, and then having the Debris Dragon on the side.
I mean, Scrap Dragon is still a very potent card in this
Scrap
sort
Dragon
of
is
deck.
very you can just use that and go straight into a Scrap Dragon. Scrap Dragon with the tokens generated from Dandelion is a very effective combo.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see. And moving on to the next card, it was unlimited, but now it is semi-limited. Rescue Rabbit.
This is the correct thing to do.
Correct.
I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree with that because Rescue Rabbit, it does allow for very overpowered players, but the Dino Rabbit deck is kind of a risk-taking deck. It's not the most consistent deck.
No.
But it's still pretty good.
It does rely on you getting Rescue Rabbit. So what this does, I think it gives the deck... It doesn't cripple the deck, but it just means that you won't see the Rescue Rabbit quite as often, so it won't be as overpowered.
Precisely. So yeah, that's all I really have to say about that. And the next card that's coming back up to 2 from 1 is the Agent of Mystery Earth. You notice a lot of the some of the cards that are being brought back up to 2 were very recently limited by either the last list or the list from 12 months ago. I don't know if these are certain U-turns or just But Ancient of Mystery Earth back up to 2. What do you think of this?
Good. I mean, Agents are a good deck, and I think putting Agent of Mystery Earth to 1 was maybe a little too harsh. I mean, I'm not sure why I did it in the first place.
I don't know how good it was in the OCG.
I mean,
a lot of the decisions in the ban list
Agents
made
were
of OCG OCG play.
And I can see why they did it. But I think it's good that they bring it back to give the deck a fighting chance again.
Yeah. I think it's a good opportunity for them to come back. And Agents are a good deck.
They are, yeah.
So I'd like to see what they can do with that. Anyway, next hit on the list is tour guide from 3 to 2. Right way to do it, in my opinion. A lot of people are calling for Sangan to be banned to try and nullify this. I thought that was the wrong way to do it, because Sangan is just one of those cards that you think they'll never hit. They won't hit Sangan.
I mean, has Sangan like been limited forever?
I don't think it has been. Or has it?
It might have. Was it like? I don't know.
There was one time where it might have been semi-limited. I'm not sure.
Well, certainly since I started playing the game,
it's been limited since we've started playing, and we've been playing for a very long time.
It's one of those cards that's just constant. It's never going to be.
It's not.
To move.
It's not overpowered at 2 or 3. It's not. It's not under appreciated at 0. It just exists. So yeah, Tour Guides was probably the right way to limit that engine, because it was a pretty overpowered engine. You could just go straight into a Zen mains or some other rank 3 and just sit on that for a couple turns while you build your resources up. Anyway, next hit on the list is A Hero Lives. I have certain views on cards like this, and vocabulary I could use to describe cards like this, which I won't divulge into. But what's your opinion on this?
Why don't I let you talk about this one?
Okay, I have a deal with cards like this, and the card similar to this, Dark Magic Curtain. I really don't like this card. I don't know why people use it, because just looking at it, I just think it's garbage. I think it's complete and utter garbage, to be honest. A Hero Lives isn't really a good card because you're giving up so much to only give you a brief comeback in a terrible situation. You've got yourself. I don't know how this hero deck does it effectively.
You're implying that this is always going to be played when you're on the back foot. I mean, is it?
I'm not sure. I mean, just by looking at it, I just have this mindset where it just looks like it's just you're going to be playing it. You're not going to have a.
What about right at the start of the game? I mean, heroes are a deck that don't contain that many monsters anyway.
Yes.
So really, there may be quite a few situations where you're going to have no monsters on the field. So it's not that situational, and it can get you a Stratus out directly from the deck. You special summon Stratus, add something to your hand, and then you still got your normal summon to do, and then basically you could just end up swarming the field from there.
I still don't like the fact that you have to give up half your life points to.
It is a heavy cost, but it could be well worth it in the right situation.
I think in the right situation it could be a good card, but you have to play this wisely. Otherwise, it's just complete and utter garbage. And Dark Magic Curtain is complete and utter garbage, in my opinion.
It's not really the same.
It's not really the same thing, but it's.
I mean, this doesn't have the other restrictions that Dark Magic Curtain does.
Yes, but it has requirements that are a bit annoying, like controlling no face-up monsters. It's a bit. It works with the hero deck, but if it was with anything else, I wouldn't like it.
Well, you wouldn't put it in anything else, would you?
No, I mean if it summoned something else other than elemental hero cards, I wouldn't really know what to say about it. I don't think. It's a weird one to call. I really don't like cards like this where you have to give up half your life points. I think it's too heavy a price to pay for the situation. That's just my personal opinion. Anyway, next hero hit is the next on the list is Emergency Call. Yeah, I don't really see the problem with it. Heroes are a very good deck, and they were seen playing at the World Championships, the A Hero Lives version. Not the Bubble Beat or anything, but yeah, Emergency Call's a good way to just search the card to the hand, and I think putting it to 2 is a good way to kind of restrict how ridiculous you can do that without completely killing it, and it leaves opportunities for even the Bubble Beat deck to to use A Hero Lives, because Bubble Beat doesn't use A Hero Lives, I've noticed. So it could be a good way to combine the two with more space. What do you think of this?
I don't think I've got anything else to add, really.
Is it the same? thinking on the same level here.
Yeah. pretty
Okay.
much.
Next card to be semi-limited is the erratic seal of convocation.
Okay. Now you don't know anything about hieratic.
I
do
know
you?
absolutely
But just
nothing about them.
Look at that.
I can see.
You can see why,
yeah,
can't you?
I want an erratic monster. No level limitations like on Rota. It gets the cards to the hand directly, and there's no limitation on it. You can just pull anything from the deck. It's better than Rota in every possible way.
I mean, hieratic is such an explosive deck that to have a card like this at 3 is quite ridiculous.
I mean, even to have it at 2 is still. But they
It's
have
okay.
lost Darkness Metal Dragon as well, so it kind of helped it. Yeah, maybe that was a wise thing to do. Maybe it wasn't. I'm not sure. We'll have to see in the new format. Next card to be summoning up to the Pot of Duality. I think that's a bit of a late call, really.
Well, I think Konami have wrangled all the money they can
Yeah.
out of Pot of Duality,
I
and
think
now they've
yeah.
got their small fortune from
Yeah.
people buying this card. I think now, well, maybe we can put it to 2 now.
Yeah.
I think it's a money-based thing.
This one was completely money-based. So they had to make sure that every single Pot of Duality in Secret Rare from the Duels Revolution had to be sold out before releasing the tins and re-releasing them in Super Rare, and then releasing the Battle Pack, so they're just a normal rare in them. So when they've got all the money that they can out
Pot
of
of
that,
Duality as common as muck, there's no real point in
keeping it at that many.
And now they see, oh, actually, it's a very good card. Let's put it to 2.
Let's put it to 2. Completely money driven. I hate decisions like that because it just slows progress in the game, in my opinion.
But saying that, is it good to have it at 2 now, at last?
A lot of decks are running at 2 anyway, or even 1. I mean, it's a nice card to have and in moderation, but you don't. It depends on the build.
I mean, some decks would have to run it at 3 because getting the combo pieces to the hand quickly and efficiently was so important. So, like Gravekeepers, for example, would have had to run at 3. But yeah,
okay.
It's okay bringing it to 2.
Yeah, okay, so we're moving on to the next card to be brought up to 2 is a very old card again, Reasoning.
Don't know what to say.
I don't understand it really.
So what?
Yeah, no real deck. No, not many decks use Reasoning. It could be used in I don't know what deck could you use this in. Someone's going to come up with a really nice deck to use Reasoning well in, but I can't think of anything at the moment. Can you?
I think the main use for Reasoning was if you wanted to get, like, there was one monster you wanted to get out. You know, decks that had like very few monsters but lots of spells that just cycle.
Kind of like a magical explosion loop.
Deck. Yeah, that sort of thing, I suppose.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't really have much to say on that, so we'll just move on to the last card to be semi-limited in the new list, and it's brought up from limited. Card as old as time. Mirror Force is up to 2 people.
Well,
Not sure what to say about this one.
I mean, it's all boggle. For me, it boggles the mind why so few people have been playing Mirror Force and why it's fallen out of favour so much. I mean, I've always played Mirror Force. I don't see why you wouldn't. I think it's...
Mirror Force is one of the oldest and most consistently brilliant cards of the game.
I mean, if anything, it's even better. It was even better last format when people sort of weren't expecting it, so a Mirror Force could catch people out.
Yeah, but now a lot of more people are going to be using Mirror Force, so people are going to be expecting it.
I mean, it is vulnerable. I mean, I suppose it's okay because there's Heavy Storm 3 MSTs around.
It's
it is vulnerable
at the moment, and
it's not chainable. It is vulnerable to spell and trap destruction, but you know, it is still a mass destruction card, and it's not that difficult to trigger. And I think it's good to run alongside Torrential Tribute and Solemn Warning because you know, you need to have something like just in case your opponent has already swarmed and they don't summon any new monsters, and you know, you need something to defend against attacks rather than just summons.
Yeah.
Merforce is the best way to do that.
Yeah, bring back to mind a card like Starlight Road, though, that deals with cards of mass destruction like this. Starlight Road is kind of useless at the moment.
Why?
I always thought,
Two
Starlight...
TTs, Heavy Storm,
Yes,
Dark Hole.
however, these are all trigger, and Starlight Road worked best as a natural counter to stuff like Heavy Storm.
Which
back when
exists.
Heavy Storm exists, but so does 3 Mystical Space Typhoons. And that's the problem why Starlight Road has lost a lot of playability and not many people are using it like they did. Because there's more chance of them MSTing Starlight Road than there is Heavy Storm, and drawing Starlight Road and actually using it as deck space is very consuming.
So what if you MST your Starlight Road? And protect your other stuff.
And anyway,
There's
no real point because a lot of the
MSTs.
A lot of the competitive decks aren't even using Stardust Dragon anymore. So there's another plus of that that's just gone. So you don't have to, but it's still a lot of people using it just so they could get a quick Stardust Dragon out as well afterwards. And it just seems pointless when you could just negate it with other decks could use other cards that they have in their lineup to negate such cards. So like Dino Rabbits, they had is it Lagia?
Yeah.
And everyone's got Solemn Judgment, and everyone's got.
But it still does allow you. Yeah.
And everyone's really careful with what they're setting at the moment because of all this destruction that's for going around. That's my reason.
Well, the match we played not too long ago, you weren't so careful.
No, that's because I'm a stupid player. Anyway, let's move on from this topic because we could talk about the ethics of Starlight Road all night. Anyway, moving on to the unlimited section of the list, up from semi-limited is Marshmallow.
Yeah?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Really all we have to say about that. Necro Gardener, next card.
Oh, this I think could be a bit of a problem.
Yeah, I think so, because Light Swan still exists. They've got a lot.
I mean,
they've got a lot.
It could be okay to give Light Swarms
a
competitive edge again. Twilight decks, those sort of things. But
they're giving them 3
Necro Gardeners
with 3 Judgment Dragons.
Yeah,
this is basically taking it back to what the deck used to be.
Necro Gardener does provide a lot of advantage. It does.
It's going to be. I think Light Swans are probably going to be a deck to look out for next.
1 is hard to deal with. 2 was very problematic. 3
is just.
Necro Gardeners are going to be hitting the graveyard left, right, and centre in those sort of decks. I mean, it's going to be quite difficult to deal with. And all we need to do is stall out for a turn. And then
but it's going to be fun to see that back
explode.
It's going to be fun to see Light Swans back in competitive play, I think.
Yeah, the deck that requires absolutely no skill.
Yeah. And absolutely every single penny in your pocket as well.
Some might say that that's not the sort of deck that should be played in Yu-Gi-Oh!
No.
Some might say.
Some might say. Are you one of those some might says?
No, I'm not sure.
We'll discuss that in another time. But anyway, next card. Destiny Drawers back up to 3.
Yeah?
I like it.
Yeah?
I like it because I'm running a particular type of build. I'm reviving Teledads, and this has helped me out a lot. So I'm going to love playing with Teledads this format. I think Teledads is a deck to look out for in the next format as well, because of the next thing they've done on the list. Emergency Teleport is also up to 3 now.
Yeah?
I'm looking forward to it.
I think, it didn't.
This is what I meant earlier in the video with the revival.
I mean, it was one of those
Synchro Monsters.
It was one of those cards that was limited back when the game was completely different, and now the game has changed beyond all recognition.
Precisely.
There's really no reason to have it limited anymore.
Yeah. And it gives the deck that used to be top tier a chance to come back and competitive play and see how it does now.
Yeah.
And it has new openings with Xyzes and Tour Guides. It's dark, so it helps out with the deck. Be it that Dark Arm Dragon may not be at 2 anymore, but it's still you can overwhelm the opponent with other ways, like this mass teleportation, synchroing, using the Exceed engine, doing all you can really to just be a real pain in the ass. Really, hopefully.
Yeah.
And a deck that really shines in Teledabs is a Doom Caliber Knight. You've seen so many times.
Oh yeah, it's a very, very, very irritating card to come up against.
I'm surprised Doom Caliber isn't used more in competitive decks because it is a really good card.
It is.
Anyway, moving on to the next card to come back up from. I just noticed something about all the cards that have come up to unlimited. They were all semi-limited before.
Yeah.
That's a bit weird. I'm not sure.
It's not weird at all.
Is that usual?
Yeah.
Mm.
Stuff rarely goes from 1 to 3.
Yeah.
It all goes from 1 to 2 and then to 3.
Yeah, yes, you're right. But anyway. Level limit area B back up to 3.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's okay because there's a lot of spell and trap destruction around, so it's not likely to stick around for such a long time. With Exceeds around as well, they don't have levels, so they're not going to be affected at all.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah, fine.
Okay, what do we have to say about that? Swords of Revealing Light up to 3.
Again, yeah. Again, it's okay though, because hardly anyone ran it.
Yeah.
So, really, I don't think putting it up to 3 is going to really harm the game at all.
Not at all. And the final card, Magic Cylinders.
Now this one I'm a bit of a cause for concern.
Okay, I'm listening.
Yeah, you ever played against Chainburn?
No. With all honesty, I've not come across a Chainburn deck in a while.
A lot of them use Magic Cylinder.
Oh yeah, of course, because it's a Mega Burn card.
It is a Mega Burn card, and really, do we want 3 of those? I mean, I think that's just going to be giving the deck sort of too much armor. I mean, it was already really good.
Mm.
I think 3 Magic Cylinder may be pushing it a bit too much. It is a major damage dealer.
Mm. It is a good card. We'll just have to see really because we can't really tell yet until the game really picks up. But yeah, that's the September list.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, I'm just reviewing the cards as backup. You can just say whatever you want to say.
Well, I think the thing that wasn't done that should have been done was banning BLS.
BLS. Yeah, I think BLS should have been.
I mean, earlier on you described the combo with Honest.
Yeah, it's stupid. Completely.
I mean, it's 3,000 attack mobs that can just be dropped like that, virtually no cost.
It is practically
2 incredibly powerful.
It isn't as broken as
effects.
It used to be, but it's still pretty sick.
I think what they should have done with Chaos Dragons, instead of limiting Chaos Sorcerer and keeping BLS at 1, was banning BLS and keeping Chaos Sorcerer at 3. That would have been much better.
Yeah, I think
I don't understand why BLS is still around. And to have it and Chaos Sorcerer limited implies that they're equally powerful, and it's just not the case.
That isn't the case. But, yeah, another thing I would have liked to see done. I really don't like the situation with Spell and Trap removal at the moment. I don't like the fact that there are 3 MSTs and Heavy Storm at the same time.
But you don't think they balance it out with the fact that they're giving you more back row, like extra Mirror Force, extra swords, extra.
I don't think that's the right way to do it. I like the game. I actually preferred the game when it was like you could have 2 MSTs and a giant Trunade. That added an element of cautionary to the game without completely killing, without being able to completely kill a deck with 1 turn. If you played a giant Trunade at the wrong time, then the opponent's not gonna notice really. Giant Trunade was basically going for the win. It was just ensuring that you went for the win. Heavy Storm, you can play that, and then you can drop that at any time and it's fine.
Yeah. That's exactly what I think.
Yeah. Giant Trunade is a bit more situational, and the payoff is more rewarding.
Yeah, you need to play Giant Trunade at the right time.
Yeah.
Heavy Storm is just like, yeah, I draw Heavy Storm, I play Heavy Storm, you're down 2 or 3 cards. It's, yeah.
And you can even, people playing it so casually now because there's so much destruction. People used to save Heavy Storms for big back row situations, but now you can even just drop it against one card.
Yeah.
It's completely... I think this current situation with spell and trap removal has ruined a perfectly good card, in my opinion. I think what they should do is go back to the way that things used to be. Have one MST and one Heavy Storm. That would be the way to do it.
Oh, those were the days.
Those were the days. And it made playing Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot more cautionary because, you only had one MST, you only had one Heavy Storm. MST is Spell and Trap Destruction in its simplest form, in my opinion.
I mean, it's a difficult issue, I think.
Yeah, it's a...
You have to balance up how fast the game is.
I think this is me. I think stuff like this is me. I think the game is quite fast.
With a slower game, you can afford to have more back removal. But if there's lots of explosive decks around,
it's not
just OTK in one.
It's not the right situation to have this much removal.
Yeah. If there's lots of really explosive decks around, then I think you should have heavier back row, in which case it would be the time for Giant Trunade.
Yeah. I completely agree. But yes, this was our discussion on the new list. I hope you enjoyed it, and just going briefly off on a little schedule plan that we're arranging. We will be attending the YCS in Sheffield this September from the 8th to the 9th. If you watch this video and you feel like subscribing to the channel, do so because it really helps me out and encourages me to make more Yu-Gi-Oh videos. I really want to get back into the swing of things with Yu-Gi-Oh, and hopefully, if you see this video and then you recognize our voices at YCS Sheffield, just give us a shout out, and we'll give you a friendly or a game. I'm going to be using YCS Sheffield as an opportunity to test out my Teledad build. So if you're interested in going for a blast of the past, I'm the guy to talk to. Anything you want to say about Sheffield?
No, just I'm looking forward to it.
I am too. Yeah, we'll be there, and hopefully we'll see you there too. Hope you enjoyed the video. Rate, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you all next time, YouTube. Take care and peace.